Mountain West Hoops Insider. We are back. My man Eli B, what's good? The hair's looking good, man. You got the March hair. Looking good.
Man, I'll have to get ready for the Final Four trip. But man, it's good to be back. Always fun to talk Mountain West hoops and talking about teams that feels like every team has had their kind of moment in the league this year, and now it seems like it's UNLV's moment.
It is UNLV's moment. We have the logo in the background. We have assistant coach, the Brandon Chappell. You can't just say Brandon Chappell. It's got to be the in front of it if you know him like I know him. So excited about that. I'm not really super happy about my hotel background, I'm going to be honest with you. So I may have to switch because when you see Chappell's background, you see he's living different than how I'm living. This UNLV budget versus all access budget. It's a little different, but that's okay. We're excited to have him. We're going to have some fun. And just coming off a bit. So bring him in. Coach, what up?
What's up, man? How y'all doing?
Chopping me up with that back there, man. Living lavish. I'm over here with Brown. Everything. It's all right, though. We're going to keep rolling.
Hey, man, it's a 4x4 room, man. Cameras do funny tricks.
Dude, I haven't figured out how to trick it on this side yet, but I'm behind the game on that. But in the meantime, UNLV is out here winning games, out here doing some things. So we got the sweep of Colorado State. We got to talk about that eventually. Got a huge win against Wyoming. You've played at the top with the best teams in the league. Had a great game with Boise not too long ago. You guys are playing some good basketball. So let's just jump into that. What do you think it is that's kind of gotten the team going? Obviously, first-year staff, first-year head coach, a lot of new pieces coming from the 12. Hamilton's back. Talk about this team a little bit in this hot streak.
Yeah. First of all, the league is outstanding. With Kevin Kruger and Tim Buckley on our staff, that they were here the last couple of years. Their opinion on this league is out the waters, where they're saying, just competitive from top to bottom. I mean, we just landed out here in Albuquerque, and New Mexico. They've had some ups and downs, but they're a serious threat, and just getting ready for them. But us as a team, man, it feels good right now. Guys are having fun. Things are kind of coming together, but still, we feel as a program that we're far from where we want to be. But the guys are very excited. We all started here fresh in June and had no idea where we would be right now. And so the fact that, we are competing and have the respect from other teams in this conference, man, it is a good feeling. But, it's March, man, and things are different in March. So we've had, some success, some games we wish we could play over, pretty much like other teams, but ready to get this one Saturday and keep it moving into the conference tournament.
With the way this season has gone and UNLV's performed really well, especially of late, and the signature wins against Colorado State, what are some of the things that maybe you as a staff were hoping to establish when you got to Las Vegas and got this roster? What are some of the things that maybe you tried to focus or hone in on?
Man, it starts at the top with Kevin Kruger. His mentality, kind of his family base on top of coaching base, is just being good people and playing hard. I mean, literally those two things, where whether it's you having study hall time, being there on time, respecting the trainers, respecting each other as teammates, and we all working together and having that respect. And then at the end of the day, just playing hard to give yourself a chance. There's nothing worse than, and I can probably speak for probably every team, playing sports, is when you don't play hard and sitting in that locker room or sitting on that bus or getting back on that plane, feeling a little bit of regret. So with our guys, we really kind of push that, as simple or cliche as it sounds, did you leave it all out there? And so that's the main base, to give ourselves a chance and just play hard.
What have you learned about this team with so many new parts or new skill sets these players bring? And obviously Bryce Hamilton coming back, and he's been an absolute star, but a lot of these guys are transfers or had different roles last season. And I think it's kind of maybe enveloped over time, and it's developed and to where the point where you guys are at now. How has this all worked out? How have people adjusted to their roles and just playing with one another?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. Two words that just popped in my mind when you said that was sacrifice and understanding. I say sacrifice because, when we got the job here, we had 1.5 guys on the roster. One being a freshman coming back, and the other half being Bryce Hamilton, because he tested the waters, put his name in the portal, and so we had to bring in 11 guys, and part of that 11 I talk about Bryce going into the transfer portal. We relied heavily on that, and we were able to bring in guys that whether they didn't have as much success at another spot, or guys that wanted to jump up a level or wanted to do something new. We had a lot of guys here with different agendas for themselves, which is nothing wrong with that. Everyone has their own agenda, but it was coming in sacrificing their own for the greater good, and that was a process. Earlier on, I said I'm sure there's some games I wish we can get back, and our guys included wish we can get it back to where now it's the understanding of the main goal, understanding of putting personal goals and coincides with team goals. And with this group and these group of guys, man, they love each other. They love being around each other. It seems like it's easy for that to be the case, but genuinely, you can see, our 13, 14 guys, you can see any combination hanging out together. And I think now at this time that it's getting, how it is this time of year, man, you start counting the days a little bit, especially those seniors, and they just appreciate being around each other and having each other's back.
So with the non-conference slate, you guys had a really challenging schedule, had a lot of tests against quality teams that will be represented in March Madness. Probably some of them you wish you could have back, as you said, but what do you think?
Some of them, a couple of them, they can stay where they at.
That too. But do you think that there's anything in particular that maybe you as a staff or even the players used as resilience that were able to bounce back?
Yeah, Coach Kruger talks about it. I'll speak for him on this as far as, that schedule was put in place, pretty much before Coach even got the job. So we had a chance to get out of some of those games. But again, it kind of comes back to, bringing in a group of guys that wanted to be challenged. And, also, the UNLV brand, used to be a national brand. And, a lot of those games where, we played in a classic with Michigan and Arizona and Wichita State and SMU's playing really, really well. We went down there and played them and, really wanted to challenge and get that brand back out there. And it made it where it was really, really tough. But I think now being in this conference, being in the position we're in now, that paid off a lot of being challenged by those teams.
What do you aim to establish as a staff as far as you mentioned UNLV as a brand, and it is still a very well-known brand and playing in Las Vegas, but this is a team that has a lot of rich tradition and history with it. What are some of the things that maybe you want to bring to this university and this program and maybe do things that might have been different than previous regimes and just lead UNLV back to a place where it's getting to the tournament every year and it's winning games and winning in the Mountain West?
Yeah, I mean, as simple as it sounds, I mean, that's it. To where, you talk about teams that we played or strength of schedule. We want to be able to not have to just come in and win the Mountain West Conference to get to the NCAA tournament. We want to put ourselves in a position where we're being in that top 25. We've had Wyoming and Boise and Colorado State, those guys flirting in and out of that top 25. That's without a doubt, and it's not even a secret. That's the goal that we want to happen. And so what comes with that is you talk about nationally. We want to recruit nationally. We want to be a destination location for guys that want to transfer, whether it's up or down. Mm-hmm. And, owning that and owning the responsibility of wanting to put this back to where, other staffs and other teams that were here that were in the NCAA tournament based on their body of work and not just winning a tournament. So, we own that responsibility. We're not scared of it, and that's what we want to be able to do.
Yeah, you guys hit the transfer portal hard, and you did acquire talent from above in a sense from a lot of Big 12 guys, and then you also have young man from Lamar who you were able to coach, and guys like Justin Weber who had a great game last game, Texas guy. Talk about the transition for yourself, if you don't mind. You paid your dues. NAU, which is where you met Kruger. You can talk a little bit about that relationship if you want to. and then you went Division II, you went Lamar. Now you're at that level. What has that journey been like, and how has that prepared you for being able to evaluate, being able to compete in this type of level as an assistant?
Yeah, man, I appreciate that. That's a good question. It's appreciation, number one, from playing, and you know how it is too, B, from coaching and being at different levels, man. It's the appreciation for each level in itself, but then also being here right now where, I mean, things are different. It's no different from a couple of these transfers. You mentioned David Mwalka from Lamar. When you move up a level, it's a transition. And when guys go from college and NBA, it's a transition, or high school to college, and so for me, it's focusing on understanding it is a transition as far as recruiting, responsibility. In this case here, national attention. It's embracing that, but keeping the same mindset of those other spots that I've been at. Coach Kruger and I had a chance to meet at Northern Arizona in the Big Sky, and just being there and seeing the recruiting patterns there and the daily prep and moving on to different spots, man. It's funny because preparation is the same, but the attention and concentration level at each level is a little different, if that makes sense. At Lamar, you know how that conference is, and it's one thing. You got to stop a couple guys, this and that. Up here, and you've seen Wyoming play a couple times. You got 1, 2, 3, 4 guys that are a constant threat at all times. So that's the exciting part about it. And it's Vegas, man. It's it's different, man. It's different.
You got guys like T-Mac pulling up, being sideline at your games, man. You got celebrities. It's part of the show, man.
Yeah, hey, man. Look, again, man. I'm not saying this in a. I don't even want to say cocky, but it's understanding where we're at and what needs to be done, and then it's owning it. It's no different from a transfer wanting to come up, or somebody going from high school to college. Like, you have to own it. You can't just come up, I hope it works out. It's like, hey, look, I'm gonna work my butt off, but then also I know the responsibility that I have to do. So
yeah, at the end of the day,
swing for the fence, man, and have no regrets.
To whom much is given, much is required. And when you're given that kind of platform, much is required from you. You can't run from it. You can't hide
from it, man.
All the smoke is coming, so you got to be ready for the smoke. You know what I mean?
No question.
Eli,
got to be ready for it, big dog.
No, this league, man, it's a really competitive league, and especially in a year like this, it's been a really deep conference. A lot of teams that are either in the at-large consideration or also in the consideration to win the Mountain West tournament. So I've known this league when it's been a 1-bid league. It's also been a 5-bid league. So it's fun to watch the competitive nature of it change over time.
Yeah. No, we would be more than happy. It's, you don't want just a breeze through the league and get in, even though, hey, we wouldn't complain. But like you mentioned, a 5-bid league, that helps us as far as our preparation, helps us as far as getting better within conference for March. And even, B, how it is with recruiting, man. People want to play against high-level competition.
No doubt.
That's why those other, SEC, Big 12, ACC, the list goes on. People are excited to play in those leagues because, at this level, everyone's realistic goal is to make the NBA, and that's okay. And so guys want to prepare for that or be able to make money playing basketball.
Right. And you guys have had number 1 pick come from there. You've had pros come from there. Yeah. Obviously, the list goes on and on. But what is the recruiting pitch? We'll get out of the way and let you have an ISO for a second. We'll let you clear out. What is the recruiting pitch for UNLV now?
I mean, it's just opportunity and exposure. Vegas is turning into arguably the sports capital of the country. We've had, have a hockey team here now, working on an expansion baseball team. The Raiders have moved here. You have the NHL All-Star game here, the NFL draft here. All non-basketball deals, but people come to Vegas for sports, and they're going to get exposed. You're going to be able to get exposure here doing that. So it's that, but really more important than all that, man, it's the family environment that our staff and our program that we really want to establish here. A lot of people, when they think of Vegas, it's like, oh, party, turn up, the smoke, this. We have a nice, everything's together right here. Guys, obviously they have temptations all around wherever you go, but Coach Kruger does a good job of establishing a family environment here. Part of the reason our staff, we've all known each other for years, so we like to have that feel around here to make people feel comfortable in a city with a lot of activity in it.
No, well said. Talk about Chappelle. Talk about a little bit about what obviously, you played Division I at Lamar. You were able to coach back at Lamar, and now you're giving back to the young fellas as you're an assistant coach. Talk a little bit about your story, your philosophy in coaching, just your approach as an assistant as you support Coach Kruger and Coach Carlin Hartman and the staff. Like, what is your approach to this thing and your why? And we have, if those who haven't seen your Twitter, they should see it when they watch this, but at the top pin, they see the shooting contest. So are we still doing the shooting contest? What's going on? Like, let us into your world a little bit.
Yeah, it's yeah, that's pinned on there, man, because it's gonna come one day. I'm gonna be like, yo, I can't shoot, I can't move, I can't do anything. So while I can do it a little bit, man, I'm
Hey,
gonna stay
as Jay-Z would like to say, it's a reminder. You need those reminders in life, man. You got to keep them in check, man.
Yeah, and it's the challenge, guys, man. I just, it's like those old school guys, which I think I'm starting to move slowly but surely into the OG category. I used to be able to do this, son. We used to do it like this, you know what I mean? So that's why I have that up there. But as far as philosophy, man, it's the same as Coach Kruger, man. We know everything. And you know how it is, man. I haven't had the pleasure to be a head coach, but man, you rely and you have so much responsibility on your plate. My number one philosophy is to make the head coach's job as easy as possible, or let the easy things be easy. Just being there for him, being there anything he needs. Like I said, having that family environment, and then kind of my realm that I enjoy doing everywhere I've been is just having a relationship with the guys. Being a basketball player myself, I love those locker rooms and, I have lifelong friends from that. So I enjoy, connecting with guys, outside of basketball that are on the team. And man, that's just a passion for me.
All right, let Eli get one more, and then we ask the funny question after that. Maybe one or two more, Eli. I'll let you get.
Yeah, that sounds good. Well, I mean, we're at the stage of the year. You mentioned March several times, and the equation is pretty simple. Winning out at the Mountain West tournament in your home arena, and you get to go to March Madness. As far as getting ready for that, what's the mentality like? What are some of the emphasis for this team, and how do you as a staff prepare this team for? It's a simple equation, but it's a huge opportunity for this program.
Absolutely. It's number one, as much as we can control it, trying to keep health at the top of the list. Obviously this time of year, it's a lot of jam games. It's been a long year already. So practices have been modified a lot. And we ask for the guys' concentration mentally more than anything, because we want them to be able to have their legs as fresh as possible. That's been a goal for Coach Kruger this whole year and our staff, where we want the guys to be feeling their best around this time of year. And I think we're knocking on the door of that. And then it's just playing for each other, man. I'm really trying to stay away from just kind of cliches and normal things, but it's just so true, man. It's not a complicated formula. In our opinion, being here with Coach Tim Buckley, that was on that Indiana team that was a number one seed in the tournament with Victor Oladipo and Zeller and all those guys, and Coach Hartman and Coach Kruger being at Oklahoma with, Buddy Hield, Trae Young, and them. They have a great feel of this time of year. So for me coming in, it's just following those guys' leads and things they've done with other players and other pros and this and that. And I'm seeing it right now. Bryce Hamilton and Royce Ham and the rest of our team are playing really well. Part of the reason is that their legs feel good. and that was by design. And so now, like we're getting ready to go to shoot around tonight, where it's just getting a feel for the gym and just having a little concentration, but also letting the guys get their mentality right for tomorrow.
And I think lastly for me, with this team, I think Bryce Hamilton, rightfully so, gets a lot of headlines for UNLV, and he's had some explosive performances in your biggest wins of the year. But there's a really good supporting cast here with a lot of talents. From your perspective, for those of us who are watching this, who would you like to shine some light on, or maybe who are some of the guys, in addition to Hamilton, who have stepped up this year to make the season possible?
As far as on our team?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, number one, without a doubt, Royce Ham, Mike Nuga, two seniors that had 1 year to come in and kind of, bet on us for 8 months. And those two guys have brought it every single day. Their sacrifice is obvious every day. And they're the center point of this whole deal. We remind those two a lot that, it's our job to work hard and get UNLV back to that national, NCAA tournament top 25 goal. And those two guys will never be forgotten for coming in here sacrificing for these 8-9 months. Jordan McCabe came from West Virginia, transferred. He's running our point. He's a top guard in the country as far as assist to turnover ratio. Doesn't have all the, him growing up, he was a child star with ball handling. And, he has his podcast and he does all this stuff. We mess with him all the time. But as far as on the court, he's okay with having 3 points, 4 assists, unnoticed things. He really wants to focus on just being the maestro of this team. And that takes a lot of sacrifice. The list goes on with the rest of the guys, with Justin Webster and Donovan Williams and Victor. I mean, David Muwaka and Keyshawn Gilbert and Josh Baker. I mean, our whole team sacrifice, man. Even our walk-ons and guys that are sitting out, our managers, man. Like, everybody is truly invested in one goal. And I don't want to sound like a Disney movie, but everyone gets along. Everybody has the same sacrifice and goals, and people aren't nervous to challenge each other and have constructive criticism or give each other confidence when needed. So we're hoping to keep that good feeling going these next couple weeks, starting with tomorrow night.
So I got a few before we close. So Coach Kruger, you've had a long relationship with.
Yeah.
Obviously, his father is a Hall of Famer. What is it that Coach Kruger, the son, Kevin Kruger, is? What makes him great? What's one or two of the things that make him great? And then, then I'll follow up with one more.
Man, it's his even keel, man. He is like this at all times. Like, seriously. His patience, his understanding. Obviously, I had met him a while ago now, 8 years now. It's crazy how time flies at Northern Arizona. And from then to right now, he's the exact same person. Him and his dad, man, when I left Northern Arizona, and Brian, about this, Brian,
right.
Giving you your flowers real quick, man. I didn't know I was a graduate assistant figuring it out, didn't have a job. And Brian was one of the guys that used to answer my calls all the time and help, just give me advice and leadership. And, it was great. And the Krugers were the same way, man. His dad invited me out to Oklahoma, and I stayed with them for about 6 weeks without a job and just worked their kid basketball camps and just soaked up a lot of knowledge. And both him and his dad, man, they're even keeled, man. They don't get too high, too low, but are extremely competitive. And so with Kruger, he's like this. But then when it's time for the intensity to rev up, our guys feel his energy, because people forget, man, he went to the Sweet 16 here as a player under his dad's leadership. Yep. And so you don't win 30 games and go to the Sweet 16 without having a lot of fire in you. But he just knows how to control that fire, man. He's so good at that. And I think our guys, they feed off of that too. They don't want to let him down.
No doubt. Well said. Yeah, I can give a quick going back when I first met Chappelle. I'm at the Final Four. He's at NAU. And I'm like, man, something about this cat. I'm gonna holler at this cat over here, man. I'm gonna say what's up to this cat. It was, I don't even remember what city it was in. It was late at
Houston.
Was it Houston?
I think so.
No, I wasn't Houston. I don't think so.
Really?
'Cause
Was
I
it
didn't go
Indy? Was it Indiana?
for Houston. It might have been Indiana. I think it was
Okay.
Indiana. It was Indy, and then yeah, everybody's like walking home from hanging out that night, and I think we're maybe like going to some little shake spot or something. And I saw him. I'm like, let's say what's up to this cat, and then we kind of exchanged numbers and stayed in touch. And then I found out he went to Lamar, and once I found that out, I'm like, oh, I need to know this cat because I was at Lamar at the time, and lo and behold, when I left, I tried to do the best I could to line it up for him to get on. I'm like, we're gonna get you on with Coach Price at some point in time. We tried the first time, it didn't work. Second time it did, and the rest is history. So I had to tell that quick story. And I just sometimes you see it. The recruiter just saw the talent. I was like, he has an it factor. He's gonna be good at this thing.
Hey, look, I don't know about the talent, but you was determined to make it work, man. Eli, I can honestly say, man, like he was like, B, man, you're this and that, and we got to get you here to Lamar. And I didn't know B. I'm like, dang, what I'm
and
getting
I was wearing him out when he was going to hang out with in Oklahoma. I'm like, man, listen, we may have to go this other job first. We may have to go this other route first, but just trust me. Like I got a plan, I got a blueprint. Like if we just follow
it was dope, man. I would not be here right now if it wasn't for a lot of that leadership, man. That's without a doubt. Without a doubt.
It was a cool looking back at how it all plays out, man. But so
crazy.
You started your career, Beaumont, in a pretty famous high school. Now Twitter is the thing now. Social media is the thing. So all these high schools get blown up. But back then you didn't have that. But you had real news reporters and people following. Obviously, you played with someone who went straight to the pros from high school. I'll let you tell a bit of that story. But talk a little bit about that, and then let's give us one good or funny story before you go around that person that you played high school ball with.
Man, so yeah, I was fortunate enough to be on a high school team that went 36-0, won a state championship, and we got as high as number 4 in the nation. Yep. A lot of the reason was because of two guys. One in particular got a lot of attention, but the first guy was Keenan Young, who actually played at BYU when BYU was in the Mountain West, played against Coach Kruger. 6'7", does it all, was Mountain West Player of the Year in 2007, showing my age a little bit, but he was a big-time guy, and he played down low with Mr. Kendrick Perkins now, man. That's my brother, Big Perk. But, it's funny, man, watching Perk kind of grow over all the years, man. Like, it was him and LeBron and Chris Paul, like 1, 2, 3 national rankings for years. And man, he was so good. People know him as a defender or a mean, tough guy. When we played in high school, man, he was a scorer, he was a rebounder, and he was a shot blocker at the highest level. Yeah. He was able to go straight to the NBA, and man, that's my brother, man. We, man, spent a lot of nights together and hanging out and just watching him grow, and then seeing him now do what he's doing on ESPN is just amazing, man. I'll never forget. I don't know if it's a funny story, but when he first started this, he did an interview, and he was like, "Hey, look, B, and I don't know if you guys watch him much, but he's like, hey, look, man, I'm trying to get in this coaching thing. How you doing, man? But man, I got a spot on TV. I want people to know I'm not just a big man. I mean, I know the game."
Right.
And then so, whatever, he was able to do his interview, and people actually was like, wow, I thought Kendrick Perkins was just a mean face and tough guy.
Right.
He actually knows what he's talking about a little bit.
Right.
So now he started getting his things going. And as he started to get more interviews, this was over COVID. One of our good friends that played high school ball, Jason Dabney, and then one of his managers right now, Richard Gray, we all used to get on Zoom and, try to prepare for battles or whatever.
Yeah.
So I had the pleasure of playing Stephen A. Smith on our Zoom call.
Oh, man.
So with that mentality, you know me, man, I clown all the time. So his boy used to put topics up like, hey, what do you feel about the Bucks, or who's the top 5 in the league? And we used to try to prep Perk, like literally no different from being in the lab on the court working on his game. Right. We're in COVID sitting around, me, I'm all like, no, Kendrick Perkins, no, look.
That is not accurate, Kendrick. That is not accurate.
look here, man, it's a damn shame what's all going on, you know. And so we really at the time it was Stephen A. and Max Kellerman. So
Yeah.
we used to play those different roles and role play and we really like took pride in it. And this was what 2 years ago now. And now he's on NBA Countdown doing these things. And couldn't be more proud of him.
He's the face now. He's the face.
He's the face, man. And literally like just how I was in basketball, watching him grow. And then now in this media that you guys, you know, you already know how tough this business is.
No doubt.
Watching him do what he do, I kind of sit back and be like, Max Kellerman, man, Stephen A., those are my boys for life, man, because I had to be them to get my boy ready.
I had to impersonate them.
Now I wish I had that contract they had. That
No doubt. No doubt. We appreciate it, man. We appreciate you taking the time. Excited what UNLV's building. The Mountain West, no better time. Of course, I coached in the league a couple times too, and that's how I got to know Eli. Eli was Mr. Mountain West. Now he's Mr. Everything in the nation. It's cool to see everybody grow and
too cool, man. Too cool, man. Full circle is real.
It is. It is. Appreciate you taking the time, man. We'll give you any last words and let you run. We know you got a game tomorrow.
Nah, man, I appreciate you guys putting me on. It's an honor being here, Eli, and then B, man, just so happy for you, everything you're doing. Man, y'all cross y'all fingers and y'all show some Vegas love, man. Boise already won the league. Colorado State and Wyoming, they've been top 25. San Diego State has all the history in the world. Man, y'all cross y'all fingers for UNLV to get a little love.
I think the longer you guys are there, the more love you're gonna get for sure. That's why we had to have you on, man. Not only because you're family, but you guys have earned it. You guys have played really well and starting to get it going. And I know the next recruiting wave, you've already signed some good ones early. I know there's gonna be more and more buzz and excited for what you guys are building, man. Vegas, the running Rebels need to be back, so it's a good thing for basketball.
I appreciate that, man. That means the world. And thank you guys. Anything you need from me, don't even hesitate to reach out, man.
Yeah, tell Coach Hartman and Coach Kruger we said what up.
Definitely will.
Okay, B.
Thanks, Brandon.
All right, as always, another great guest. We love to break it down. Have my man Eli give the breakdown.
Yeah, I mean, UNLV's had a really strong season. I think they're playing their best basketball at the right time. And they've had seasons where it seems like they're playing their best basketball in December and January, and it seemed to kind of hit a wall right around that January, February window. But this year's already been different, and Kevin Kruger's done a wonderful job. And I think the questions were probably justified about this team heading into the season because you have a first-year coach, a first-ever head coach at the D1 level. You have a whole entire mishmash of transfers. That's always a wild card. And you also have a really, really strong Mountain West. So there's 3-4 teams that are still at large, capable as we speak. Just a little over a week until Selection Sunday. But UNLV has certainly proven that they're going to be a tough out in their home arena next week. And when you have probably the best player on the floor in most games in Bryce Hamilton, and a supporting cast that doesn't really get enough credit. And that's why it was important, I thought, to ask Brandon about that, because there are a lot of guys on this team that have done wonderful things and have made a great leap over to UNLV and started to reestablish this brand. Because, as you said, Mountain West is just more fun when UNLV is good. It's as simple as that. I think the same goes for New Mexico. And now that we've had a lot of these former WAC teams that have come over, like Boise State, Nevada, Utah State, they've had their success. It's fun to have the blue blood, so to speak, of the Mountain West step up again. And I don't know, like it's going to be tough, but UNLV's got as fair a shot as anyone to win this tournament. And I think the way they've been playing of late, the way that they've showed up against Colorado State twice and beat them pretty handily. Now they have the win over Wyoming, which is something that a lot of teams in this league couldn't say. They're playing really good basketball. I wouldn't want to face them this time of year on their home gym. I think support's been a lot better. The crowd seems to be louder than it has in recent years. So it's going to be exciting. We've got at least 5 or 6
tournament in Vegas. Is in their gym. So,
yeah.
I mean, what better setup could you ask for when Vegas is good? When I coached in the league the first time at Utah, Vegas was good. Coach Kruger was there. And, I mean, you're playing at home. We played them in the first round. You're playing a home game, against UNLV. So when UNLV is good, it's only good for the league as a whole. Same like you said with New Mexico, some of those brands that have so much tradition. And then, yeah, this league, we'll talk about it, but this league is as legit as it can be. 4 teams looks like they're going to be in. UNLV's gotten 3 1 wins in this league, which is impressive to be able to say you can get those within the Mountain West at this point in time. So, yeah, great having Chappelle. He's family to me, and obviously you can hear our story a little bit. And, yeah, look forward to continuing to see what they do. And we'll talk more Mountain West coming soon. Thanks so much